I don't think it was, because we did your Zoom, John.
Call the special board meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. The time is 5:06. Madam Secretary, call roll.
President Mayo,
Present.
Vice President Cordova, Secretary Vihil, present. Member Cisneros,
Present.
Member Romero.
Present.
You have quorum.
Thank you. Time for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of the Friendship amongst many cultures. Yeah. You want this? Good one. Yeah, you can go. Get the cow smell out. Yeah. Next item, the agenda approval of agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, new business. Item A, discuss some possible action regarding 2026-2027 QISD school board budget proposal.
One copy of the one that she had sent over.
Yeah. That one or the green paper? Oh, no, over here? Yeah, the paper clip, I think it's the one. No, that's all mixed up. One if they could carry over and the other one didn't. I think the gray one had. What do you do with all your wildcat gear, John?
Take it with you.
I know I have to surrender it right before. You know, that stuff. Call us asking for changes in the last meeting.
I didn't.
Who?
This is the same as was presented, right?
We had, one of them that showed a 400. Four 665. Now this one is just a zero.
So you have, that was without the carryover, that's why 56, 55. So
Okay,
that
so the
would
one
be-
we have had, okay.
So this is with the carryover showing that it's a zeroed out balance.
So what did we get on the secretaries were at 2.5? Where were those positions at?
They're at the elementary, the high school, and the portion here.
No, the one here is a 1 under executive, right? I'm just wondering if the 0.5 needs to turn into a 1, or if that's a dual position, or what is that?
Oh, it's your sped secretary as well.
Oh, okay, so that's fine, staying a half. And on custodial, we have a 5.75. Is that somebody that's just part-time or?
That was a 3/4 employee that we used to have. I don't believe that was from last budget. So if you go to custodial now, it just should be at an even 5.
It's 5.75.
No, watch, scroll over. So that was last year at the 189,093. And then if you scroll over to the next line, you have a 5.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
1, yeah.
So where are they spread out? We got 3 up there and 2 down here?
Yes, one is upper, lower, and then one handles the gym, the tech building, and the wing of the art and music. As well as the field. They also clean the bathrooms and stuff at the field.
And they float from up there to down here.
If need be.
Mr. President,
What's
I'm thinking I'd like to move maintenance to a 3 and custodial to a 6. So that means that we have a dedicated maintenance person here, a dedicated maintenance person up there, and then 3 or 3, and then you have the leader, whatever title that maintenance guy is, to help oversee both sites, so you don't have to split them. You know what I mean?
So the maintenance to 3 and custodial to 6?
You could have 3 custodials to each site and a maintenance person scheduled to each site. Let's see how much that is.
Between about 70 and 80,000.
Yeah, 34 on the custodial, right?
Mhm.
And about 50 on maintenance.
Maintenance comes in, starts about 40.
That's just salary, not including benefits.
That's not included, that's just salary, yes.
So What was it again? 74.
Between about, yeah, let's just say between about 70 and 80.
With benefits, would probably be right, a little bit above 80. And to pull that, I'd like to put our principal expenses back to a 2. So you only have high school and elementary.
Why are we pulling from principals?
We only need 2. That'll save about 106,000.
So you're wanting to get rid of the assistant principal at the high school?
Yeah.
So your assistant principal is not just at the high school. The way it's been structured is 2 days at the high school, 2 days at the elementary school. With working with them to kind of establish what those days look like to help with discipline and to get the principals where they can go into the classrooms and do observations and kind of get that piece off of their plate.
You remember, Jay, I think, even when we were here, we probably have what, like 500 or 600 up there?
Shoot, no, I think our class only graduated
Like the whole site though.
like 20, so.
When I was there, I think we were 500. And we only had a principal. And then even that principal took care of Red River.
It's too much, honestly, because I only came for my senior,
Oh, and like the 1 year here.
for the council, honestly.
It just seems like a lot of expense for how big we are. But I do know that the maintenance department and the custodial staff need some help. Those are really the only changes I was looking at.
That's what the assistant principal comes in there, right?
You what?
The assistant principal is what you're talking about?
Yeah. So we just have a principal and a principal. What do we have enrollment? The total's like, we're at 280 something.
Around there, about 2, right at 280.
It's like, honestly, when we get straight down to where the 2 sites are one site, it's like we probably only need a principal. Let's see.
I wouldn't say that. All the schools we visited there in Colorado were about our size too, and they had at least 3.
Where?
Sanford and those ones that we visited.
Sanford only has 2.
No, they had 2.
No.
Yeah,
They have a high school and an elementary.
and an assistant principal.
They have just a counselor.
So that's the assistant principal. We talked to her that day we were there.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I went on Blanca.
They had the gentleman that also was the assistant that helped in part of athletics as well.
Yeah.
What was the student population there? Do you remember Sanford? Not Sanford, but.
Sierra Plan.
320.
320.
Yeah, because they were pretty close to what we were.
320.
They went up, right? They went up in the morning when we got to school.
I mean, that was cool. Yeah, it was about 320, but
Yeah, you're right. I don't wanna get rid of that assistant. I'm not opposed to adding to a custodial or,
That's the one that helps like recruit readiness and all that stuff, right?
You think it'll work out like the assistant we had this year?
I should hope not.
It's just, we've never had it. And I don't think there's ever been, it's never made or broken anything, you know what I mean? My opinion is if you only have 100 and some students and you can't, a principal can't function on its own, you probably don't need an assistant, you probably need a different principal.
I wouldn't say that.
All the years that even when you came, there was only one.
No, Valerie was the principal and then Julie was the assistant principal.
No, she was a counselor.
No, she's the principal.
It just seemed like a waste of money to me.
I don't think so. I mean, you need somebody to help you.
Well, it's 106 grand taxpayer money.
So the only thing that I can say in that sense is that state has changed their accreditation process, and their accreditation process now requires formal walkthroughs that have to be documented, as well as formal observations that have to be documented. Depending on the level 1 requires 2, and the level 2 and 3 require 1. And so that was one of the issues when you're dealing with discipline, to be able to get your scheduled walkthroughs. Your formal walkthroughs are supposed to be monthly. So if you have 17 teachers, that means you're in 17 classes every month is what ideally you should be. And so that was what the way accreditation has changed now, and that was this year. So this year, there are pieces that we did not hit because we weren't able to get that person into the classroom to observe during that time. So that was.
We were already set up like this.
No, we weren't set up like that. The high school was able to complete it with the elementary, and so we were trying to figure out a way to help support the elementary in that. Now, the person that was assistant principal last year at the high school also did cover 5 and 6, and they did get observations done for 5 and 6, but it was the lower grades that we missed those observations.
So you say that principals don't have time to do that on their own?
With the amount of discipline that they handled this year, it was one of those pieces. That was the whole point, was to try to help with the discipline portion of it.
the principal at the elementary asked. We asked her, is this necessary or not? Would it be, beneficial for her to have somebody come down twice, 2 days out of the week, and she said absolutely.
Well, maybe she wasn't getting it done. I don't know.
I don't think having support means that they can't do their job.
Say that again?
I don't think like having support from an assistant principal means that they can't do their job. I think, they're carrying the weight of the school, and I think that having support from additional staff member to help them in that higher capacity is beneficial.
Yeah, but that's already the role we're paying for.
But you also gotta remember that you give separate hats to a lot of these individuals. Now, if you wanted to move away from that and name somebody a director that took to bilingual, took your SPED, your federal programs and your curriculum and instruction, those are all things that have to be reported at the same time too, and that's what's happening is we're using these individuals to do
Other jobs.
other jobs.
That is a valid point there. 'Cause even with the discipline thing, it's like, I think the issue there is there wasn't follow through. You know what I mean? And it's like, an assistant would be just the assistant, but it's still the head of those sites, it's up to them.
Well, assistant has the ability to hand down discipline. too.
Well, right, but I mean, to follow through with it, like it's not gonna be somebody that has more authority than each, they're there just to help, but that would be, the better help would probably be, so that way the principals can just be the principals, and you can give all the little program to somebody else. That's not a bad idea.
What kind of other programs you can fill in one person?
Now you have to make
So
sure.
if you, that's why we have them broken up and spread out the way they're spread out, so that one person isn't handling a number of, it's also a checks and balances, because your federal programs is federal programs, of course, and your SPED is also federal, and then your bilingual portion is a combo of both, federal and state. So it's why it's kind of spread amongst a few different people for that purpose. But I will say, like, your SPED one is its own animal. It's a big one.
Your bilingual is a 2.4, right?
Those are your teachers,
That doesn't include the
no.
director.
That assistant principal, would that be the one that would be your bilingual director?
No, actually, the principal, the high school principal was going to be the bilingual director. The assistant principal would take athletics.
And built in their contract would be for them to be at both sites, that assistant. Not just hanging out.
It would be at both sites. They would figure out the days, if it was 2 days in a row, or if it would be Monday, Wednesday at one site, and Tuesday, Thursday at the other sites. It would be built that way.
What was the instructional materials? Says for operational went from 33,000. Well, that's
Good, let me look here.
No vacation. So your instructional materials,
through SEG.
yeah, that's an increase on that, and that's what you have to look
Excuse me. What is-
Bless you.
And how do we go down on the teachers, 1 through 12 at risk from a 4.3 to a 3.97?
because they got moved around on the way that the states asked for these to be coded.
Okay, so it's somewhere else.
Yes, so there's no reduction in teacher FTE. Even if we don't fill a position or to that extent, it's still no reduction. We kept it at what it's been at.
President Rio.
Go ahead.
I do not support the taking away the assistant principal. I am in support if the maintenance does need more funding in their department. Is there a carryover,
There's carryover.
the 400 and?
Well, you have your restricted carryover, which is before you came on the board had elected to always hold enough to cover everything for 3 months. And so it's 425,000. On top of that, you have about another 200,000. So altogether you have close to 700,000 in carryover. And again, I want to emphasize that piece. There wasn't because we added positions or anything like that. Your reduction, we usually carry about $1 million over. Reason we're under that million is because that unfunded mandate of the 80-20 rule, which is about 287,000 that hit the district. And so if you take that, add that back, you would have been right at your $1 million carryover.
It's on the last part there, where it says the restricted expenditure.
We couldn't take out this maintenance stuff out of somewhere else.
You could, you have, like I said, you have your additional, if you want to cut down on your unrestricted carryover, which is, like I said, close to about 200,000, I believe it's like 198. You could take out of there, which then would just reduce your carryover down to about 105,000 that you can still use without tapping into your 425.
The only other wiggle room we have in the budget is one of the teachers, we left their salary.
Yeah, you have a retiree that was about a $90,000 salary, and so we left it in that FTE. So if that doesn't get filled and we do it the way it's kind of being planned out and scheduled now, you would have that additional 90,000. So you do have carryover money that's.
But we left it in there with for wiggle room.
Yeah, just
We had to
in
hire
case,
another teacher down here.
yeah, in
or
case, you
some-
have 12 kids move in and all of a sudden they're all in the third grade and you need an extra third grade teacher, that's why it's
Yeah.
left in there.
We could have took it out and put it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see
That's a
adding
nice
that
suggestion.
many positions, 2 more. To maintenance and custodial.
You do see or don't?
No. Unless we tap that.
Well, and another possibility
Or
is
remove that.
you could go, if you're looking and you feel that the help is needed, you could always go a half and half, which could support your, what's called, and then they can also be a floater on the days that need to be as well. That's an option, which would be filling one position.
We're already at 5.1,
You're at 5,
even 5 now.
even 5.
Even 5 under this budget, but last budget was 5 3/4 on the custodial. So I mean,
In the security, that's only the high school security, right?
Right now, yes, it's only high school security.
So maybe we think about putting that as 2 also, so we can try to get security for these stuff.
but I don't see why he couldn't get a school car and just put on. from
Use
one-
this year.
I think
Both sides.
both sites are pretty important.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, we got the little shacks, but we don't have nobody there no more.
We got the gates now.
So we got
They're all manned by cameras. Yeah.
whatever happened, did we buy one for the high school? Where did that one at?
Which one?
Did we buy a new shack for
Yes,
that
they're
thing?
by the teachers. Was it cost more to rewire that one than to use the one that's currently there?
security to be hired, hold on the persons for down.
Yeah. Maybe they could help with the discipline. How many calls did you have out here? In the last month or so, or two?
Maybe 4?
You had a couple, but that's just because the way policy reads.
Yeah.
Is that law enforcement will be
Notified?
notified.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be good if we had security there.
But you still would have to take those calls because
Yeah.
it's not.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
At least to have somebody in the event it was serious, you'd have somebody there to at least try to defuse the situation till you got here.
And where would that extra position come out of?
We would add it,
Out of the caregiver?
no, by going down to 2 on the principals. Just if that assistant would help, for discipline, security could also.
The security, you gotta remember the security can't hand down this
They
effect.
cannot hand it down, but I mean, when
They
kids,
still have to be present of your
somebody with an admin.
person with an admin license.
Mr. President, I'll put that in a motion with my amendments.
Make a motion, I'm sorry, can you clarify? Just like,
My motion is to go down on principles to a 2. Going to maintenance, adding 1 to make it a 3. Adding 1 to custodial to make that a 6. And adding 1 security to make that a 2.
Have a first, do I hear a second? What happened if we don't get a second?
You gotta open it up.
So you would just, my second motion dies, and then you would open it up again for their motion.
Ralph? Maybe in second, so the first motion dies.
So now you would open up the.
Reopen the motion. Item A.
Just, you know, for the proposal.
Yeah.
I make a motion to, pass the budget as presented with possibility of increasing maintenance and custodial if allowed by budget. By carryover budget.
Discussion.
You gotta have a second.
Sorry.
Before you go to call for discussion.
So second, no discussion. So second, no discussion.
I'll second that motion, discussion. You're saying half and a half, or
I'm
the
just,
full, what one proposed?
yeah, so, I know that there is need for an extra, in both of those sections. A total of $80,000, so if the budget allows without, hurting the budget, then I'm asking if we can take that out of the carryover.
You have to define that right now.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean, so you have to say that's where it's coming from.
Well, she kinda did say what about the carryover. Yeah. But I wasn't clear as to
Yeah, positions.
one position or,
One each, so one for custodial, one for maintenance.
So maintenance will go to 3, instead of 2, and then
And
custodial
no,
will go to 6.
no security,
We haven't had security.
is very important. No, that's your motion, that's fine.
I just think that, yes, security is needed, but I also feel that, an assistant principal is a huge support system, not only for the high school, but for the elementary as well.
Any further discussion?
hearing none. Madam Secretary, if you call vote.
President Real,
Yes.
Secretary Vihil, yes. Member Cisneros,
No,
Member Romero,
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is executive session. This time, Chair will entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to New Mexico Open Meetings Act, Section 10-15-1H, the authority for executive session and the subject to be discussed must be stated, which will be item A, discussion of possible legal matters pursuant to 10-15-1H8 of the New Mexico Meetings Act pertaining to the QISD school property. Item B, discuss limited personnel matters as permitted under section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. Review superintendent position applications and interview scheduling. On item C, discuss limited personnel matters as permitted under section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act. Discussing advertising for interim superintendent position. I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session. So move. First by Member Romero,
second.
second by Secretary Vihil. Madam Secretary, roll call.
President Real,
Yes.
Secretary Vihil, yes. Member Cisneros,
yes.
Member Romero.
Yes.